Yeah, Yale versus Michigan. We got a top 10. What was that?
Nonprofits calling.
We got 2 top 10 teams.
The Meg Show is on full display in the dome. Let's go! The Megan Show continues. Carney to Tyrell.
To the Meg Show. A little bit of a different setting this week, as you can tell if you're watching this. Meg and I are in the same place. Woo! Who would have thought this day would come? Here we are together for the Meg Show. Season 2, episode 1. So exciting. And I don't know if you can tell by the gear on Meg and I, but we are currently checking in from the WLL inaugural Champ Series. Boom, boom, boom. We are in DC / Virginia, I guess you want to call it that, getting ready to play our first game of the WLL and the WLL's first game ever. How exciting is that? Meg, what have your thoughts been so far as we've kind of journeyed into the WLL?
Yeah, it's been super fun. Such an amazing experience. Thank you to everyone at the PLL, the WLL, everyone behind the scenes that has made this happen so far. We had a very great first day. We got here Saturday morning. We had Maybelline do our makeup. We had media, content, photo shoots, all that fun stuff, physicals. And then we got into some practices with our team, walkthroughs, team dinners, watched the Super Bowl together. So yeah, it's been very fun. It's such a unique opportunity. No one has played, none of these 4 teams have played before. So this is new for everyone. Not much of a scout really, but it's really cool to play together. Our team is made up of majority of Syracuse and Northwestern players. We have also one Stony Brook.
Shout out Kylie, welcome back.
We've got Belle from BC. Woo. But yeah, the majority of our team is Northwestern and Syracuse, which is awesome. If you can't beat them, then play with them. So we are happy to be playing alongside those girls and on the same team as them. But yeah, it's been great so far. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you here, Meg. I think it's been a fantastic opportunity for being able to see women's lacrosse expand more into the professional side of things here. And we've kind of been talking about this, growing up, playing lacrosse collegiately, the highest that you could get was winning a national championship, which is still a fantastic feat. Obviously, only one team gets to do it a year in lacrosse, women's lacrosse. And to be able to kind of look forward or have something to look forward to in the future with, especially with the WL and the sixes format or whatever it kind of produces moving forward. I think it's just such a special thing. And like for the younger generations, make sure you guys are tuning in this week. If you're not just to watch us, watch all of the games. There's so much talent here on both the women's and the men's side. Take as much of it in as you can, learn it, breathe it, love it. It's so fantastic. And we're having such a great time. Especially with our teammates. And our first game, by the time you see this, it will have already happened. However, playing tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time against the Maryland Charm. So all these teams put together for the first time in the same place, playing together for the first time, playing against each other for the first time. So it'll be an exciting week of women's lacrosse and men's lacrosse. And we can't wait to get started. So make sure you guys tune in throughout the rest of the week.
Yes, and if you are in the area, if you are a Meg Show listener and you live in the DC, Virginia,
the DMV, they call it,
Maryland,
allegedly.
Philly area, the surrounding area, come on by, come to a game,
come say hi.
Yeah,
come say hi. We'll hang out. I think tonight we have a friendship bracelet. Sorry, a friendship bracelet swap. So we'll be there, even though by the time you see this, that won't matter. But enough about us. I know this is the Meg Show. However, we do focus on college women's lacrosse. And week 1 did not disappoint. Definitely did not disappoint. As we head into rounding up those games, let's talk about 2 games that we didn't really mention in our games to watch. However, they led for an exciting finish.
Yeah, so a few games that sort of caught our eye after the weekend and just throughout the weekend as we were watching. Denver lost to two unranked teams who Denver was ranked. They lost to Louisville 8-10, and then lost to Ohio State 5-9, which is, I don't really know. Is that on the committee for ranking them? Is Denver not living up to their hype for the season? But yeah, two losses to unranked teams, Louisville and Ohio State. So tough start for them on the season.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. You know, Denver's been having really, really great seasons the past few years. I think kind of starting off, maybe they need this shake up to kind of wake up moving forward into their season. But on the other side of it, for Louisville, that's a huge, huge win. For Ohio State, the same thing. These are big wins for this program, for these programs, and hopefully with this momentum, they can kind of build and carry up through here. So I can't wait to kind of tune into these three teams, kind of see what happens as we head into this for next week.
Yes, another game that we thought was a great game was Richmond upsetting number 19 Penn State. Richmond came out on top with the win there, 12-10. Huge win for them in the Spiders. They had a very, very big third quarter. They scored 7 goals in one quarter and held Penn State to 0. So that is a huge momentum swing for Richmond during that game. And that's a big reason as to probably why they won. They had 6 different goal scorers as well. Colleen Quinn had 4, and Juliana Stanley had a hat trick. So great job to those girls for carrying that team. And huge win for Richmond. Fun fact though, Penn State won 16 draw controls and Richmond only won 7. And then 4 saves compared to 12 saves, which is not good. Got to save more balls than that. So great game. Huge win by Richmond. We're excited to keep an eye on them throughout the season. I believe they broke into the top 25 this week, possibly. I don't recall actually, so let me fact check that.
And we'll get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, big, big win for Richmond. Excited for them. And Penn State will no doubt bounce back from this. As we said last episode, this is the first week of the season. So seeing these shakeups kind of early, it's exciting, but also there's a lot that can be corrected, fixed, changed moving forward. The next game, we'll bounce into who we were watching, the Florida Hopkins game. I will say I did not think it was going to be as close as it was and come down to the wire like it did. I kind of thought Florida had a little bit of the edge here going into it, and in the end, they did end up having that edge. But I thought it would kind of show a little bit more throughout each quarter. If we're looking at the stats here, Florida had 8 different goal scorers. And looking across the quarters, Hopkins had a huge second quarter with 5 goals. But Florida was a little bit more consistent, putting 3 up in each quarter in the first half. So we're close going to halftime right there. 6-6, tied up. And then moving towards the end, Florida ended up having that edge. There was like 17 seconds left. They were able to put the ball away against a really good Hopkins defense. So crazy game to start out with. Definitely really, really exciting to watch. But that wasn't what I had on my forecast in my brain. And then for Florida, we got Caitlin Davies. She put up 3 goals. Jordan Basso put up 2. Jenny Markey put up 2 as well, amongst a couple of other people who had 1 goal each. And then we look at the Hopkins side, we see Ashley Mackin. She had 5 goals, and a familiar name, Ava Angelo, had 2. Lacey Downey had 2, as well as Annie and Megan had 1 apiece. If we're looking at any further stats here, Florida took 19 shots while Hopkins took 37. And when you look at that kind of gap between who wins and who loses, you gotta put more shots on cage, especially. So if you're Hopkins, you're taking 37 shots compared to your opponent who's taking 19. You gotta kind of put a few more of those away. If that's the case, which moving forward, they've got a talented offense, they got talented coaching, this will be fixed. And then you got to get up to Florida's defense, Florida's goalie, for making those stops as well. And then if we look at a little bit more of a sloppy play here in these stats for turnovers especially, which we know from last season, if you listened, and this season too, turnovers are killers. They are crucial in games. You want to minimize your turnovers as much as possible. And in this game, Florida had 18, which is a lot.
Hopkins had 15, which is still a lot. Both teams had a ton of turnovers. But yeah, Florida to have 18 and still come out on top. Crazy.
Yeah. And a good stat for Hopkins, they won the draw control game. They had 15, Florida had 7. Sometimes things just don't turn out in your favor, and especially with this many turnovers, it's a little bit of back and forth here, which we can tell by the score. Comes down to the wire here. Florida puts it away with 17 seconds left. Big win for Florida. Happy for them. These two teams will excel moving forward in the season. I'm sure of it. But definitely two teams to watch moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of neat and interesting. Where if you were to look at the stats in the box score without seeing the final score, you would think Hopkins would have come out on top for sure with 37 shots off compared to 19, less turnovers, way more draw controls. Like, that is textbook for a win. So it's very interesting that Florida was able to hang in and come out on top. So good job to them.
And it just does go to show that you don't have to have the most, you just have to put away the most, right? So congrats, Florida. Moving on to our next game. Meg, if you want to take it away with BC Loyola.
For sure. Yeah, we had BC Loyola as one of our games to watch. It was a ranked game, ranked matchup. Unfortunately, however you want to see it, BC handled Loyola pretty well. So not much of an exciting game there. It's a great learning opportunity for Loyola and a huge win for BC. I'm sure they got to work on some other things throughout the game, get some girls in, which is awesome early on in the season. But yeah, BC ended up beating Loyola 21-7. Emily Pinto and Rachel Clark put up 13 points combined. Those are two of their best players. Let's maybe mark up on them, slide to them, whatever you got to do, double them, face guard, whatever it is. We don't want them getting that many points, but great job to them. McKenna Davis was also involved with 1 goal and 2 assists. Definitely a quieter day for her. Would love to see more out of her, especially when BC's putting up 21 points. But overall, they won. Chase Boyle had 1 goal off of 3 shots, which she needs to definitely get more involved. And just her team needs to help her find more success for them to be successful overall. But otherwise, they're playing against a great goalie, Shea Dolce on BC's. Amazing goalie. She's, I know, trying out the USA right now. So she is top-notch in the league. She's one of the best goalies out there right now. So I'm sure she had an amazing day, and she's tough to shoot against. We know from experience.
Yes, we do. But yeah, that game, it was a ranked game, ended up not being probably what people were expecting. However, props to BC there. You know, like, they came in after a huge national championship last year. They're missing some key players on both sides of the field here, especially in their defense and their midfield, on their attack. But, however, returning Emily Pinto and Rachel Clark and McKenna Davis is huge, right? And then for Chase Boyle, I know it's so early, but she is a favorite right now for Tewaaraton top 5. For her to come into this game, this is a huge game. She only gets 3 shots off. This is something that I think it's not a singular person. You know, it wasn't just her. The team, she's got to have the ball more. She's got to be getting these shots off. She has such a high shooting percentage. She did have a goal on the day, but I think she needs to be getting more. It's either more touches or more shots off, whatever it is. That has to increase as they move forward. But yes, given Shea Dolce, fantastic goalie. And then also, we talked about Georgia Latch a lot last season. She also had 1 goal and 2 assists. But overall, BC came into this game, got business done, and they're moving on to their next game, which they've already played their next game. But yeah, their game this weekend, one we'll talk about in a minute, we're looking forward to.
Awesome. Next we had was UNC versus JMU. Another blowout. Great win for UNC. But yeah, ended up being 14-2 UNC. They beat James Madison. Humphrey sisters, actually there's 3 of them on the team now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Chloe and Ashley, will specify, had hat tricks each, so huge day for them. And then a few other, actually a handful of UNC girls were goal scorers. So you'll start to see a trend. Teams that have more players that can put the ball away and score goals, they're going to be more successful. It's going to make it way harder on defense for them to know who to slide early to, who to guard more, who to have the best matchup on when everyone out there can be a threat. But yeah, if you want to take away UNC JMU, sort of go into that game. But
yeah, no, I think, the college lacrosse world has been waiting for the Humphrey sisters to be together at one university for a little while now. We've got one of them coming off of a injury last season. She's making her, if you want to say, freshman debut in this game. Fantastic to see them out there together. Warms the heart as a sister who has had a sister on the team. And looking ahead, we also had Olivia Vergano, who was that Virginia Tech transfer who's come in. She's putting up 2 goals. We're also welcoming back Marissa White. I know we didn't talk about her last episode. However, she is a key piece of this offense. So to have her back out there will be huge as well. And I know it's been the talk of the town, but this healthy UNC squad, knocking on wood, having them all back together on the field again, this is a veteran, this is an experienced team moving forward into the season. So them coming out and kind of putting on 14 goals against a ranked team is not unexpected.
Yeah. Great win for UNC. They also have another great matchup coming this weekend, which we'll get into that later. Next we had was Northwestern versus Notre Dame. That is number 2 versus number 13. Northwestern did come out on top 13-10. Notre Dame put up a good fight, pretty close game. One of the better games of the weekend. But yeah, Madison Taylor, 6 goals.
No surprise here.
Notre Dame, let's slide to her. Let's slide early, whatever you got to do. She is a threat. She's their best player right now. She is an awesome player. I saw one of her highlights of getting through a double team, and she's just
so smooth.
She's unreal right now. But great for her. She's putting up 6 goals against a top-ranked opponent and an ACC opponent as well. So she is on track to have a great season. But yeah, we got to slide there. But yeah, otherwise Northwestern did come out on top. It was a close game. And the draw control battle was 22-5. You win the draw. Actually, can't really say that anymore. Yeah, but
it does count.
Makes
though.
it easier.
It does. There's a point to it. But yes, no, this game ended up being close. But it kind of, from the way the game carried itself, Northwestern was in the driver's seat the entire time. As we know, Notre Dame, we talked about last season, their mentality does not change. They are aggressive. They do not give up. They are a huge, huge second half team. They come out in the third quarter heavy. They come out in the fourth quarter heavy as they put up 4 goals in their fourth quarter. Wasn't enough to kind of catch up to this dynamic kind of Northwestern offense. But, to be able to make that swing, make that comeback, especially in week 1, Notre Dame's in a good place. So this will be a good thing for them to learn from. Moving forward, it's not bad to get this loss in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, as Meg said, Northwestern came out strong. They literally did. They had 7 goals in the first quarter, and Notre Dame had 0. So they were off to a hot start from the beginning, and that just led them to success throughout the game and set them up pretty nice.
Yes. Those were our games we watched, games we were interested in. They did not disappoint. While some of them were a little bit unexpected, I feel like for the most part, we were kind of right.
Yeah.
And it's never a bad week when the Megs are right. Never a bad week.
No.
And other exciting news, this is kind of just like a little bit of an off flip. UConn has made their way into the top 25, which is very, very exciting for them. And as we kind of use that as a little segue here. For season 2, the Megs are sponsored by Sideline Bags.
Let me tell you, this bag will transform your life, whether you're an athlete, retired athlete, not an athlete, whatever it is. I use it whenever I travel, no matter what. It's amazing. It holds everything from earrings, necklaces, hair ties, deodorant, hairbrush, even your phone, mouth guard, all in one place inside your bag.
You'll never have to worry about losing something ever again. Hopefully. Use code MEG20 at checkout to get your Sideline bag today. Let's get into the rankings.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. The rankings. And I think this lines up. I felt good about it the past 2 weeks. Okay. I felt good about it the past 2 weeks, and especially this one. I really do think this makes sense. If we're looking at our top 5, we got BC at number 1, going down the line, Northwestern, Michigan, UNC, and UVA. I like that top 5. What do you think?
I want to see. I like it. I'm interested to see if UVA can hang up there. I hope they can, and I hope they do. But I'm interested to see how they shift throughout the season once they start playing some ACC teams, get deeper into their schedule. But I think that's good. Top 5. I think UNC could go above Michigan. I think Michigan can stay in the top 5. I think UNC could go above them. Yale at 6, Florida at 7, Syracuse at 8, Maryland at 9, Hopkins 10, Loyola 11. I think it looks good.
Yeah, in our top 10, I think this is a solid top 10. We're looking at Loyola at 11, Notre Dame's still hanging at 13. And then if we look kind of down the line here, we look at number 19, Louisville, also in the top 20 with that huge win this past week over Denver. And we got Richmond sitting at 20. I like this look. I think this will be good. I think this is a competitive top 20. And I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how this shifts and shakes up as we head into this next week of college lacrosse.
Yeah. Interesting rankings. I love to see how they shift throughout the season as teams get deeper into their schedule, start playing conference games. It's always interesting.
Always, always, always. And after scooting through those, we will look at our upcoming games to watch as we head into this next week. First one to kind of look at is a Stanford versus Colorado, top 20 teams. Thursday, they play at 6 p.m. We get a nice weekday game. And what's better than that? Something to kind of break up your week here, something to watch, something to enjoy. Two competitive teams, kind of out west, if we want to call it that. Yeah.
Yeah, is it at Colorado? Or is that Stanford?
They're both out west now.
Colorado's like the Midwest.
Well,
Stanford's the West.
still west.
It's west of where we are now.
Exactly.
Yes. Great weekday matchup. Love those. And then we have great games this weekend.
This Saturday, if you are anywhere besides your couch, your chair, your floor, watching, if you're anywhere besides these places, you are wrong. You need to be watching.
Unless you're here watching us.
Unless you're here.
But
it's fine. You can watch it on your phone while you're here.
We have amazing lineup of games this weekend. To start us off, we have number 6 Syracuse. They're going to travel down to College Park to take on number 7 Maryland at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Cannot wait. That's going to be such a great test for Syracuse, both teams in general, but it'll be a great test for Syracuse. They're such a young team right now, other than Emma Ward and Livia Adamson on the offensive end. But majority of the team running up and down the field against Albany. There's some young guns out there or some girls coming back from injury. So that'll be huge for them, and I wish them the best of luck, and I cannot wait to watch that game.
Yeah, and as we said before, the rankings do switch up here. So I know we've got them at 8 and 9. Some people have them at 6 and 7. You can decide what you think. There are so many things to look at, so many ways to interpret this stuff. But we do have a strong Q's team headed down to a strong Maryland team, which will be an exciting game. You can catch that on the Big Ten, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately, I know that's a tough one.
Annoying.
But definitely tune into that one. And then we've got the Tar Heels of UNC heading down to Gainesville to play the Florida Gators in the swamp, as they say down there. That'll be a matchup at 12 p.m. I love that. That's going to be a gritty game. It's always a gritty game. Mm-hmm. And it's a midday game. Thankfully, it's earlier in the season, so hopefully it's not too warm down there. But I think that's going to be a great matchup for them.
And then we have, drum roll, we have a rematch of the national championship this weekend. We have the Eagles are heading west to Evanston, Illinois to take on Northwestern. It's going to be number 1 versus number 2 rematch of the Natty, like I just said. That's going to be at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and I cannot wait to watch that. You know what's really nice is that all these games happen in our games at 2:30. So hopefully we can watch the majority
of them. Like the beginning
of
it.
Well, maybe that one specifically, but at least Syracuse, UNC, we can watch those.
We can get to finish those, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are our three main games that we're keeping our eyes on. We will have 5 for you guys that you will see on our Instagram at the Meg Show Pod. Check it out. And then some other games on Saturday, which are also bigger, kind of some more top 20, top 25 matchups. We got Ohio State versus Louisville at 10 a.m. These are two teams that are coming off of those wins against Denver. They both beat Denver. So I'm excited to see how they kind of match up against each other. And then we've got JMU versus UConn, both top 25 teams. UConn freshly in the top 25. This game will be at 12 p.m. That should also be kind of an exciting matchup to see these two teams kind of go head to head. I don't know if they're regularly on each other's schedule or if they're in the same conference.
Yale and Michigan?
Yeah, Yale versus Michigan. We got a top 10. What was that?
Nonprofits calling.
Oh. We got 2 top 10 teams ranked up against each other. Tune into this one if you can watch it. It's at 12 p.m. I know the games kind of line up all at the same time, but you can also have 2 laptops running, 2 phones running, 2 TVs if you're fortunate enough to have those. I don't have 2 TVs, so I don't have 1 TV, but it's fine.
I'm not fortunate enough to have a Big Ten login, so if anyone's got
Yeah,
that, I can share that. I'll take that as well. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and then looking at our last game we're checking into is Hopkins versus Duke. Those are also 2 top 20 teams that we'll be tuning into at 1 p.m. So, what a weekend. What a Saturday of lacrosse. You will be busy from eyes open to eyes closed.
Which 2 are you most excited to watch?
I'm excited for BC Northwestern.
Other than that one, obviously.
Fine. Okay. Love to see the Cuse girls play. Gotta be excited for those. Play against Maryland. A lot of history between those 2 teams. That'll be an exciting one to tune into. And then I want to watch Yale, Michigan.
I was gonna say that one.
Sorry. Yale, Michigan, I'm excited to tune into as well. You can really watch any of these games and learn or enjoy it. So if you're younger and you want to watch some great lacrosse, learn some different things, watch specific players, tune into any of these games and you will learn something.
Well, are you wondering which ones I'm excited to watch?
Yeah, I thought you were just going to go for it.
I was waiting for you to ask.
Okay, nice.
Well, Yale, Michigan, but you stole that, so I will go with Ohio State, Louisville.
Okay,
And then Syracuse, Maryland, but obviously that's like bias, so I'll go UNC, Florida.
Okay.
Cool.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
That's our...
We're together.
In our hotel.
Should we do a haul of our... We went to Whole Foods and got so many snacks.
So many snacks. But I feel like that's a little besides the point. I don't think they care about our snacks.
And there's a blizzard right now.
Turning into one. But these are all besides the fact. We're so excited to start off this college lacrosse season with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know we've got questions coming in. We are going to handle those next week as we have some exciting things developing this week for you guys for the pod. So just hold tight. Any questions you have will be answered. Work with us here, all right?
Just keep sending in the questions. Go to the link in our bio and drop any questions you have.
Yes. But thank you guys again for tuning in. Let us know what you think. What's your top 10? What's your top 5? What games are you looking forward to? Did anything surprise you so far? Anything about any calls that are being made? Let us know. We love to hear your thoughts, and we always take them into consideration. So tune in this weekend to all these exciting games. Tune into our games. We're going to plug ourselves. Tune into our games. Watch the New York Charging or any of the other teams as well.
Just kidding. Yeah, watch them.
Watch them all. It's fast. It's fun. We're up and down the field. You get to see us sprint back and forth. It's so much fun, and you get to do it comfortably. So tune in. Watch some great lacrosse with some really talented players, and watch out for some other exciting clips that we'll be having for you guys.
Yeah. Can't wait. Thanks, guys.
See you next week.